onto the next part of the petrol tank. I dragged over my little slip rollers, even though these are only small. It weighs a ton, it's about 48 kg I think, and kind of awkward to carry, so hefted that over here because it's quite a long piece of steel and it's easy enough to handle when it's completely flat, but as soon as you start putting curves in it and you're putting it through the rollers, you find, oh okay, now it's, instead of sticking out flat this way and I can rest it on things, it's going to be up like this, and it all gets a little bit tricky to manipulate. Probably be easier with two people. I should say that I don't know what I'm doing here. I've never had any training on this or how you use it. It's all kind of self-explanatory more or less, so hopefully I'm doing it right. I marked out lines on the inside so that I could make sure I was keeping this perpendicular to the rollers, or parallel to the rollers I guess keep the sides perpendicular. And I kind of marked, using my wooden template, where the curved bits are and where the flat bits are. That's what these marks are. And there's marks here which show where the ends of the flat bits work. And yeah, it's just a matter of sort of rolling it through. I rolled one end first, this end first, and then took it out and had to feed it in using the movable top roller feature on these things, because of course you can't roll it all the way through. You'd put a curve in the whole thing, but you need these flat sections. One thing I find really helps with this is once you've got it set up so it's level, because you adjust each end independently, which is by design, because sometimes you want things to curve, so you can put uneven pressure on the rollers and it'll put curves and things. But for this I just need it to be even on both sides. So once I've got it leveled out, I put little marks just with a bit of Sharpie on the controls so that I know I can count how many turns I am turning things. Same on these. So these back ones control the rear roller, which is what's forcing it round, and the front two control the grip on the material. So with it rolled like this, you like I say, I couldn't now just roll this out unless I slacken off all the controls. But these things always have a, well, I'm assuming they all have this. The top one actually comes out of the way, so you can move this off. And now, theoretically, the flange will go the other way up, of course, but this should be a reasonably good fit. Obviously there's room to manipulate it, so it's getting pretty close. So that'll be how the petrol tank is done. I need to tighten it up a bit. There's a little bit of spring in it. I also need to decide where I'm going to put this flange, and I'm thinking it'll probably be there, because I want to leave the top and the bottom of the tank free, especially the top. I don't want any seams here because I need to do the fillers, the filler cap tube and the pickup tubes. And I am considering, I need to see how much space I've got in the car underneath it. I might put a little sump on it so that the reserve pickup tube actually sits lower than the bottom of the tank, but off the bottom, so you don't want to suck up sediment. But if there's a little sort of sump down here, that'll be the lowest point for the fuel, so you'll always be able to pick up fuel from there. Maybe I'll do that, I'm not sure. But that's coming along. I think I'll tweak this. Now that it's got a bend in it, you can do the rest sort of by hand. You can tighten it up where it needs to go. But yeah, that's looking good so far. And I decided I'm not going to try and plate this. I'll just leave it how it is. It's got a nice look to it, and I just need to find something to go in there. I think I've probably got a blanking plug, or the other thing I thought of doing is making up a little brass knurled round thing, something to go on the end there anyway, just to cover that hole. So I will move the rollers and get back to fitting the tank. What I'm hoping I can do, I may not have thought this through, but is once I trim this, I'll bend each end 90 degrees out and out, so I can clamp those together and weld down the seam. The reason I'm doing that is because that's my best chance of getting a nice weld that seals. So same way they did these the mud guards on the Valicette, you can see it's two halves welded together and they weld down the seam. I did the same on here, so it'll be like that. Because you can, it's much easier to get, I can get that weld with no holes in it, because obviously it's a fuel tank, and on the inside it'll also be sealed. You'll get that seam, but when I seal the tank, that'll fill all of that in, so there should be no chance of it leaking. That's my hope anyway. On this one, I am thinking I can probably I might be able to do that weld, so then that's sticking out at 90 degrees, and then flatten it down, so hammer it around so it's flat before I do the ends and the baffle plate in the middle. This will go in the middle, obviously, but you can see how that'll give me an edge. I can tightly clamp that all the way around with vice grips or Cleco clamps, and then tack weld it, and then fully weld it all the way around. That's what I'm hoping. I'm trying to give myself the best chance of this not leaking. That's basically the idea here. This is starting to look like a tank. I haven't got the curve on the front here quite right, so the clamps are really struggling to pull this into position, so I need to adjust the curve here. I think I need to tighten it here, and I've got a flat bit here, so I may run those through the rollers again. I really love these little Cleco clamps. They're super easy to use and they work really well. Just squeeze them. The baffle's inside there as well, but it fell over. But this end I've just got a whole heap of vice grips. But what I want to do is, when I have it all lined up correctly and in the right place, I can mark where the seam will go, and then I know where I have to bend these and where I need to trim it. So it's getting there. There's still no, I think when this is welded, these will be rigid enough without beads in them. I'm just wary of trying to put those in now. It's going to warp these, so I have them fitting pretty well. I don't want to upset that. Just the single baffle in the middle, and it should work fairly well. Like I say, I'm gonna adjust this. I want it to be at the point where it only needs minimal pressure to actually hold it in place. So the second curve I did is much closer. The front one ended up a little bit tight and a little bit uneven. I've trimmed the outside of the tank to size, and I bent up the ends, each end to 90 degrees. I've sort of clamped those together, and you can kind of see how this is going to work. The good thing about doing it this way is it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. If these edges don't match up perfectly, you can hammer them to fit. So basically I can clamp them into place, and there's enough sort of relative movement in the steel pieces that they will pull up tight together. And once that's all welded, that's going to be nice and solid, I think. So the next thing to do would be I will file or sand this top seam. So I'll keep these end clamps in place, but I'll remove these middle ones and get these so they're the same height all the way along, and then I can do a weld all the way along there. I'll do that weld first because then I've got an assembled outer tube, and I can fit the baffle in the middle. I can fit one of the ends, and then I've still got access to the other end where the fuel filler needs to go, because I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet. It'll be a tube that goes in there. I just need to figure out how I'm going to mount it. If that'll be soldered on or welded on, or I'm not sure yet. I need to get the tube. And then there will be the pickups in the top. But, it's looking okay so far. The other thing I think I'll do is, I'm running out of welding gas. I'm going to need to go and get more of that. So I may actually finish welding the tail onto the bike to use up the last of the gas before I start this. I do want to get some weld through zinc primer. So I'll go over the whole thing with that to give it a little bit of extra protection before I weld it. The other thing is, welding on the edge like this means really minimal burn off of that zinc. So that protective coating should stay there. I ended up fully welding this back seam. I still need to go over it again. It's a couple of little, possibly pinholes, which seemed to be getting worse as I was going further along, and then I realized I had run out of gas. So once I get more gas, I'll just go along and touch that up. The other thing I realized is, when I actually make the straps that'll hold the tank down, I will need to put little blocks or something here. I've got plenty of ash, so a couple of something like that either side will just to get over that lip. That's not hard. The ends are fairly tight in there. The baffle is actually in the middle as well. It's not welded yet, obviously, but that's a nice tight fit, like a push fit in there, so that's not going to rattle around. And for now, I've just put some of Mr. Tweed's Magic No Rust Juice. Wipe that down just on the seam, just to stop it rusting until I can get to painting the outside of the tank. I decided I didn't need the zinc spray for this seam because this hasn't been hammered at all. This was still had a zinc coating. What I'm worried about is these end plates where I've been hammering them and folding them and that kind of thing. It'll have lost the zinc on those edges. So I want to recoat the inside of this with zinc before I do that weld on the outside. But I think that'll work. That is pretty strong. Once this is all welded as well, that'll be nice and strong. As I mentioned, it'll get sealed from the inside. And I need to sort out the filler cap. The tube is quite high because the filler cap's on the outside of the car, and because of the curvature of the body, you need about this much tube so that the filler cap is free to spin. Otherwise it'll hit its own boot lid, which is why they end up sticking up so high, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, you can sort of see it in that photo, maybe. I keep forgetting this doesn't focus up close very well. Yeah. But I think that should do the trick. I have it sitting on its little mounting things. I'll put strips of foam, strips of rubber between the tank and that, of course, and it'll obviously all be painted nicely. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say about that until I get more bits and pieces and more welding gas and can finish it off. But I do like how that's looking at the moment. And as I say, there's these, it's so thick, the steel, there's no flex in the end plates, there's no oil canning. Even when it's clamped like this, I didn't need the beads in the end, so I was able to keep it nice and clean. One thing it reminds me of, and maybe this is only an Auckland thing, it's definitely a New Zealand thing. You used to see older houses around with sort of usually white painted tanks outside of them that were this shape on legs. They were a bit bigger than this, of course, and I'm assuming they were just some kind of water tank or maybe part of the sewage system. But of course you don't see them around anymore. It's just something I remember as a kid. As soon as I got this assembled and put it together, that's exactly what it reminded me about. Those white tanks that you used to see outside houses. So if somebody knows what those are, let me know. Yeah, and I think that's it. Like I say, it's been a bit of a quiet weekend. The weather's been a bit strange. It's sort of been spitting on and off. It's got a bit chilly actually after all the hot weather we've had. So I think I'm probably going to leave it at that for now. I think I mentioned the other day what the capacity of it was. If it's exactly the same size as my cardboard mock-up here, that was 33 litres. I think I've lost a little bit because I've set these in, so it's probably about a 30 litre tank, 32, something like that. And I couldn't remember the amount in gallons, but 33 litres, 7.2 UK gallons or 8.7 US gallons. I can't remember what the book mileage of these cars actually is. It's pretty high because it's only an 1100cc engine, so I should be able to figure out what sort of range I'll be able to get out of it. I suspect it's probably further than you would comfortably want to drive in one stint anyway. It's not going to be the most comfortable car in the world. Let's be honest.